A prisoner arriving at Belmarsh does not simply walk through a door. He passes cameras, locked gates, identity checks, and procedures designed for men the state believes could still be dangerous from behind a cell door. Belmarsh has held terrorists, organized criminals, and some of Britain's most high-profile prisoners. But what makes it so secure? The walls, the inmates, or the system watching every movement inside them? Belmarsh sits in Thamesmead, in southeast London, on land once linked to the Royal Arsenal at Woolwich. It opened in April 1991, built for a justice system that needed a modern high-security prison close to the capital's courts. Its location is not incidental. Just across the area is Woolwich Crown Court, a court complex designed to handle some of the most sensitive criminal trials in the country. Keeping a Category A prison nearby reduces the distance that dangerous defendants must be moved, and every mile removed from a prison escort lowers the risk of escape, attack, or disruption. Belmarsh also serves a wider purpose beyond Woolwich. With an operational capacity of around 910 men, it receives prisoners from courts across London and, when required, from further afield. That makes it both a local remand prison and a national security asset. The geography explains much of its importance. Belmarsh is close enough to central London to support major trials, but positioned within a secure prison complex built for control, containment, and rapid movement through the criminal justice system. At the center of Belmarsh's role is one label: Category A. In England and Wales, Category A prisoners are those whose escape would be considered highly dangerous to the public, the police, or the security of the state. The label is not just about what someone has already done, it is about the risk created if that person gets outside the walls. That can include people accused or convicted of terrorism, murder, organized crime, or offenses involving national security. Some are awaiting trial. Some are already serving long sentences. What links them is the level of harm authorities believe they could cause if they escaped. Belmarsh is not simply a tough local jail with higher walls. It is part of the high-security estate, a small group of prisons built to hold the most dangerous and closely managed prisoners in the system. What makes Belmarsh unusual is its reception role. It is the only reception prison within that high-security estate, which means it can receive some of the riskiest prisoners at the earliest stage, straight from court or after arrest, before their long-term placement is decided. That first stage matters. Staff must assess behavior, intelligence reports, escape risk, gang links, extremist influence, and mental state. In Belmarsh, the question is not just who is difficult to manage, it is who could become catastrophic if the system gets them wrong. Inside Belmarsh, security is not one wall, one gate, or one camera. It is a sequence of controls that follow a prisoner from the moment they enter the prison to the moment they return to a cell. Movement is managed in stages. Doors are unlocked only when staff allow it. Gates create sealed points between areas. A prisoner going from a wing to a visit, a legal meeting, healthcare, or exercise may pass through multiple controlled barriers before reaching the destination. That movement is also monitored. Wings are watched by officers and cameras. Access to different parts of the prison is restricted, so prisoners cannot simply drift between areas or mix with people they are not cleared to see. Searches are part of the routine, aimed at finding weapons, drugs, phones, notes, and anything that could be used to threaten staff or organize crime. This is why Belmarsh's reputation is built on systems rather than a single dramatic feature. The prison is designed to stop escapes, contain disorder quickly, and make it harder for criminal networks to keep operating from inside. The sharpest end of that system is the high security unit. It can hold up to 48 of the highest-risk prisoners, separating them from the wider population under tighter control. For some inmates, containment is not only physical. The aim is also to limit communication, influence, intimidation, and command. In Belmarsh, security is a machine made of architecture, routine, surveillance, and permission. Every locked door is one part of that machine. Belmarsh became famous not just because of its security, but because of the names that passed through it. Over the years, it has held some of the most notorious and high-profile prisoners in Britain, including Charles Bronson, Ian Huntley, Abu Qatada, and Anjem Choudhury. Their cases were very different, but together they helped fix Belmarsh in the public imagination as the place reserved for men considered especially dangerous, disruptive, or politically sensitive. That reputation grew even stronger through terrorism-related cases. Belmarsh sits in London, close to major courts, specialist police units, and the center of government. For prisoners accused or convicted in national security cases, that location matters. It allows controlled movement to court hearings, legal visits, and intelligence-linked procedures without sending the prisoner across the country. The prison's role is not simply to lock up famous offenders. It has to manage the risks that follow them. Some prisoners attract outside supporters. Some are linked to extremist networks. Some may try to influence others inside. Some require protection because of the nature of their crimes or their public profile. This is why Belmarsh is often mentioned in the same breath as terrorism. organized crime, and national security. The names create headlines, but they also create work: monitoring communications, managing separation, controlling visits, and preventing influence from spreading through the wings. To the public, Belmarsh is remembered through infamous prisoners. Inside, staff are managing hundreds of people every day, most of whom will never become household names. For many men inside Belmarsh, the hardest part is not a sentence, it is waiting. Belmarsh holds a large number of remand prisoners, meaning people who have not yet been convicted, or who are waiting to be sentenced. Some are preparing for major trials. Some are moving back and forth to court. Others may only stay for a short period before being released, transferred, or sentenced elsewhere. That creates constant turnover, with new prisoners arriving as others leave. Daily life has to fit around that movement. Security checks shape almost everything: when doors open, who can mix, who can attend appointments, and how prisoners are escorted through the building. Ordinary prison needs still remain. Men need exercise, legal visits, family contact, healthcare, showers, education, and work. In a place like Belmarsh, each of those basic routines can become a controlled operation. Inspection reports have raised concerns about how much time some prisoners spend locked in their cells. They have also pointed to poor attendance at purposeful activity, such as education, training, or work. In practice, that means a prisoner may spend long periods waiting behind a door, even when activity exists elsewhere in the prison. That waiting creates pressure. A remand prisoner may be dealing with an uncertain trial date, limited contact with family, legal stress, and the shock of entering custody for the first time. For staff, the challenge is keeping order among people who may be anxious, angry, bored, or afraid. Belmarsh is built for control, but control does not remove human needs. Inside a highly secure prison, boredom and frustration can become security problems of their own. At Belmarsh, security is not only a matter of gates, cameras, and concrete. It depends on staff making quick judgments, sharing intelligence, watching patterns, and enforcing routine discipline before small problems become serious incidents. Officers are looking for details that may seem minor from the outside: who is refusing to mix, who is suddenly in debt, who is being threatened, who is trying to pass messages, and who may be preparing violence. Surveillance helps, but information from landings, searches, conversations, and conflict resolution work often gives the clearest warning. Inspection findings in 2022 noted that violence had reduced, and that work to resolve conflicts was helping staff identify risks. But the same picture still carried pressure. A prison can improve and still remain difficult to run, especially when it holds volatile prisoners, high turnover, and men facing serious charges. By 2024, inspectors describe Belmarsh as a competent prison, but one operating under significant strain. That matters because competence is not the same as comfort. It means the systems are working while demand keeps pushing against them. The real test of Belmarsh is not a quiet day behind locked doors. It is what happens when tension rises, intelligence changes, staff are stretched, and every decision has consequences. Belmarsh is often called Britain's most secure prison, but that title needs unpacking. In official terms, it is not simply a fortress sitting above every other jail. Britain has a wider high-security estate, with prisons built to hold men considered among the most dangerous in the country. Belmarsh's reputation comes from something more specific: its role, its location, and the cases that pass through it. It is a high-security reception prison, which means it can receive prisoners straight from court, including men charged with terrorism, organized crime, murder, and offenses linked to national security. At the same time, it also functions as a core local prison for southeast London. That combination is unusual. One wing may hold a man awaiting trial in an ordinary criminal case, while another may hold someone whose movements, communications, and associations carry national interest. That is why the myth of Belmarsh as an escape-proof fortress is too simple. Its real security challenge is not only stopping someone getting out, it is controlling risk inside a crowded, changing institution where legal visits, court movements, new arrivals, vulnerable prisoners, and high-profile detainees all have to be managed at once. So, is Belmarsh really Britain's most secure prison? In reputation, very possibly. In function, it is one of the most important security prisons in the country. But its true significance is bigger than a label. Belmarsh acts as a pressure valve for Britain's courts, prisons, and national security system. It is not just where dangerous people are locked away. It is where risk arrives first. Belmarsh answers our opening question with more than concrete and steel. Its security is constant control: who moves, who meets, who speaks, and when. As a modern high-security prison, it holds some of Britain's highest-risk men, and shows what the country fears most. Thanks for watching. Comment your thoughts, like, subscribe, or watch our next prison documentary.